mountain guy. He's the one who's going to be taking us about 11 or 12 kilometers down Lake Minnewanka and back in about 1 hour. How this cruise works. For the first half, I'm telling some interesting stories about Lake Minnewanka, some cool facts, answering any questions that may come up. Then we get to our halfway point. We shut down there for about 5-10 minutes. And then on the latter half of the cruise, on the way back, I'm quiet for the most part and let you guys kind of just enjoy the beautiful views we have here at Lake Minnewanka. But before I go any further, I'm required through Transport Canada to go over safety. So I'll have everyone's attention just for a couple minutes, and then we'll be underway with the cruise. Life jackets, just like this one here, they are located under each one of your seats. No need to put them on or do anything though, unless told to do so by either myself or Captain Kenji. And to put them on, it's very simple. First, you would just drop these waist straps like so. Stick your head through the hole. This strap here, it's tied firmly under your chin. The waist straps wrap around your waist. Tie a nice little bow on the front, and then you're ready to float. Thank you, sir. For my younger friends on board, if you weigh less than 90 pounds or 40 kilograms, your life jackets are located up here at the front. I would distribute those if necessary, and they're put on the exact same way as the adult life jackets. Emergency exits. All of your windows can be slid open just by clicking in the hatch, sliding either backward or forward, and that can let in some air if you want, or they can be used as an emergency exit if necessary. 2 other emergency exits on board. The entrance you all came in at the back, or we could hop up these stairs, pop that hatch open, and crawl out the bow of the boat. And finally, at the very, very stern of the boat, there is a large white capsule. That is our inflatable buoyance apparatus. You can kick it right in the water, pull on the wire, it automatically inflates, and it has enough space for 75 grown adults. So more than enough space for everyone if we did need to distribute that. Any questions or concerns about safety? Everyone feeling nice and comfortable?
We're good.
Fantastic. Also, if you did want to go on the back deck, feel free at any time throughout the tour to do so. Just a few rules with the back deck. Please, just no more than 8 people out there at a time. Otherwise, we get a bit too heavy in the back. As well, when the engines are running like they are now, just make sure the door is slid shut. And that way we can avoid the diesel exhaust getting sucked in here. By all means, feel free to go ahead and do that though. Awesome. Well, again, guys, welcome to Minnewanka. It is a very pretty calm day here. Nice calm afternoon. Saturday afternoon. Before I start off with the regular tour, does anyone have any questions about Lake Minnewanka or Banff National Park? Yes, sir.
How cool is the water?
How cool is the water? That is an excellent question. It is very cool. No. So, temperature, on average, 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. So that is just above freezing temperature. This is not a swimming lake. You might see some people near the shores jumping in. Near the shore, it's a little bit warmer because it's more shallow. Closer to around 5, maybe 7 degrees. But out here in the middle, 2 to 3 degrees. So, you know, it's the kind of lake where we like to jump in and then maybe jump out, for sure. Very, very cool. That's a great question. Any other questions? All good? Fantastic. Well, let's start off the tour.
The mountain
direct your
over there.
attention out the left-hand side of the boat. This whole area here is known as Cascade Bay. And you guys are here at a pretty cool time of year. If you guys were here in the springtime, like maybe May or June, all of this area over in Cascade Bay would actually be mostly land. But right now, clearly, a lot of it is water. The water has risen up as the year has gone on. But earlier on, when that land is exposed, you would never ever see any people walking on it. It's actually a restricted area by Parks Canada. And if you were to be caught walking on that beach, you would be risking a fine of up to $20,000. So definitely a good way to turn your holiday sour. Now, has anyone here done the Lake Minnewanka Trail before?
No.
No. I asked because there's a sign along the trail that says why we're not allowed to go on that beach. Anyone able to guess, or does anyone know? I guess if you haven't done the trail, it'd be pretty hard to know. It is because of these. This is made by Arrowhead, think a little bit bigger. You're on the right track though.
Here.
Yeah, you got it. There you go. Spearhead. Specifically, this is a Clovis point spearhead. In the 1970s, the University of Calgary was over at that beach, and they were doing an archaeological dig. They found hundreds of these spearheads deep within that sand. And after further research, the university concluded that these spear points actually belong to the Clovis people. Anyone heard of the Clovis people before? You people? Okay. So, scientists theorize that approximately 10 to 15,000 years ago, the Clovis people inhabited this area. And they say that or theorize that they came from an ice bridge connecting the Eurasia continent, crossed over to North America, and then they spread out. Or in modern times, you could say Russia, crossed over to Alaska, spread out. Scientists theorize that these Clovis people could be the ancestors to about 80 or 90% of modern indigenous groups in North America. Although that is just a theory, if you were to ask today's indigenous group in the area, such as the Stoney First Nation, if you ask them, hey, how long have you guys been here? They wouldn't say 10,000 years, 15,000 years. They would say, well, we Stoney, we have been here forever. So lots of theories as to how long people really have been here. But these spear points, back over at that beach, or that hidden beach I should say, direct evidence of people residing on these shores for at least 10,000 years. Very, very long time. Now this spearhead that I have here, I should mention, I could whack it as much as I want because it is plastic. It's actually from the dollar store. All the real authentic spearheads are still under the water in that hidden beach to this day. So the university came, dug them up, research, catalog, record, and then by law, just exactly, they had no choice. They had to put them right back into the sand. This is Banff National Park. You guys know the rules. Take only pictures, leave only footprints. These are considered natural historical artifacts. And in the springtime, when the water's lower and you're able to walk on it, Parks Canada, that's why they're willing to give you such a big ticket. Someone could step on one of these, break it, and then you've just broken a 10,000-year-old artifact, which nobody wants to do. So that's why that beach, that hidden beach, is forbidden of all access. Kind of cool. 10,000 years people have been in this area. That's a very long time.
Yeah.
But I briefly mentioned the Stoney. Anyone know the Stoney First Nation? Some people. So, anyone from Calgary or Calgary area? Some people. So, Calgary as well as southern Alberta, Treaty 7 land. And Treaty 7, that is the traditional home and traveling ground of the Stoney First Nation, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Blackfoot First Nation. So those are the modern indigenous groups we have around. And here at Lake Minnewanka, we really like to focus on the story of the Stoney. They're the ones who would have been inhabiting Lake Minnewanka around the time European settlers came here in the 1800s. And the Stonies are also the group responsible for naming this lake. So, Lake Minnewanka. It's not English, not French. It's from the language of the Stoney people, known as the Sioux language family. Minne, it means water. Wanka, not chocolate factory, spirits. So, Lake Minnewanka. We are on the Lake of Water Spirits right now. I look out the window onto the water, and right now, not all that spirited. You'll remember at the start of the cruise, I said it's very calm right now. We have these tiny, tiny little waves right now, but nothing too crazy. Makes Captain Kenji's job nice and easy. Just gets to cruise on down with ball, no hands. Nice. Anyways, we can get very sudden and violent storms on Lake Minnewanka. And that is because we are an east to west valley. We run east to west. Most valleys in the Canadian Rockies run north to south. So you all know Bow Valley. Maybe some of you know the Spray Valley. Those are all north-south. Since Minnewanka is east-west, the very, very eastern end of the lake, which we're not able to go to today, it's a little bit too far, but it's also the very, very eastern end of the Canadian Rockies. It's where the mountains flatten out and meet prairies. So every now and then, we get warm prairie winds. They mix with the cold mountain winds. This valley kind of acts like a wind tunnel. Could be calm like this 1 minute, and the next minute, we can get waves on Lake Minnewanka up to about 7 feet tall, or 2.5 meters roughly, which is a bit hard to imagine on a day like today. Now, you guys are in luck, because at the helm of the boat right now, you have Captain Kenji, who has worked here for 11 years. Do you know, in Captain Kenji's first year, his rookie season, he had 30 hours of driving experience, 3-0. He left onto a cruise just like right now. The water was totally glass. Like you could see the reflection of the mountains from the water perfectly. He drives out, gets out to the halfway point. By the time he was up there, he was experiencing those 7 feet tall waves. And Kenji, he's hilarious. The way he describes it, his eyes, wide open, hands glued to the steering wheel. So he was focused the whole time, and he goes, I thought I was going to die. But no, clearly he's not dead. Good job, Captain. Yes, round of applause. Yes. Well earned, Captain Kenji. No, of course, aboard, actually, that was on this boat, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, so obviously that's a bit before my time, but this boat was still around back 11 years ago, so the boat hasn't sank yet either, which is good.
The boat is really old.
Believe it or not, this boat constructed in 2008. We have another cruise boat constructed in 1978. You can imagine people's faces when I tell them that fact.
You're not getting on that boat?
Not getting on that boat, yes. Luckily, no. All of our boats are good. I was just about to say, these boats, all of our tour boats, in fact, they're made for the ocean. So it's not a problem. These 7-foot waves, that's like child's play for us. But imagine that I'm a stony person, paddling along in my wooden dugout canoe on Lake Minnewanka. 7-foot wave comes along. That's probably going to ruin my day. So they respected and feared these waters as spirited. And I'm sure probably some of you have already caught on, but when I'm saying the word spirit, I'm not talking about like a ghost or anything like that. I'm just referring to energy in nature. That's what the Stony people mean when they say spirit. So that could be like the waves, the winds, the fire. Those are all spirits for the Stony people, if that makes any sense. Absolutely. Now, before I move on, I just want to show you a quick little demonstration. It has to do with the Stony and how they got their name. So I have here stone. Not all that exciting. This is just a limestone rock. Maybe some of you have heard of limestone. About 9 out of every 10 rocks along the shores of Minnewanka are limestone. So it's very, very common. What's special about it? Well, maybe some of you know you can make concrete and cement with limestone, but the Stony used it for a different way. They knew it was very, very good at retaining or holding on to heat. If I took a limestone rock this size, put it into the fire, wait an hour, take it out of that fire, it could hold on to that heat for 4, 5, 6 hours afterward. Different from other rocks we have in the Canadian Rockies, such as sandstone. If I were to put sandstone into the fire for an hour, The heat would cause it to explode. So, limestone, very unique property. What exactly would the stony people do though? First, they would dig a small hole in the ground. Sorry, I'm distracted by how cute this dog is being right now. Take some animal hide, put it into the hole. And then you've got a bowl or a cup right in the ground. They call that a rawhide bowl. Then, in this bottle, this is just water from Lake Minnewanka. So they pour a little bit of water into their bowl. And finally, add their hot piece of limestone. Now this rock here, it's not being in a fire. They don't let us start a fire on the docks. Instead, it's being in a crock pot or a slow cooker for about 1 hour. I put my arm over it, it feels pretty hot. You guys are smart, I'm sure you can probably guess what's going to happen when I pour a bit of water on this rock here. Watch carefully. Quite a bit of steam comes off. Maybe I'll throw my mask on, do a few more. Let's see. Now, my friends up front, watch how quickly this rock dries. Very, very quickly. Kind of smells a bit like a sauna. Let's see, maybe it has energy for one more. Let's see. I don't know. It's a gamble. Oh yeah, for sure. Anyways, you get the point. The rock is very hot. That's kind of cool, actually. I didn't think that third time would work, but it did. That's awesome. And you're probably thinking, well, Will, that is I suppose that's a cool science experiment, but how would that benefit the stony? Well, this is a very small-scale demonstration. Imagine I had a massive bowl, 30, 40 rocks in there, liters and liters of water. I could get that water to boil. Then I can make soup, stew, tea, whatever the stony people needed their boiling water for. Of course, as you guys know, no pots or pans or kettles back then for the stony. So, European settlers come to this area. They see the indigenous Canadians and how they use stones to cook and boil their water. So the European settlers of this area decide we're going to call these people the Stony. One who cooks with stones. That's where that name comes from. It is a European given name. Originally, these First Nations called themselves Iahe. Iahe simply meaning people of the mountains. Also a very fitting name. Awesome. Ooh, I think I just sat in some water. I did. Well, classic. Anyways, we're going to be at our halfway point in about 5 or 10 minutes here. Any questions I can answer before I quickly move on here? All good. Awesome.
Why is the color of the water more blue?
Ah.
And like the other lakes, it's more green.
Green. That is an excellent question.
Yeah.
So, question for you. Have you been to Lake Louise? Yeah, so you'll notice that Lake Louise, the water there is even bluer than here. It's almost kind of like the color of my mask. So, it's all due to the exact same mineral. The question was, for those who didn't hear by the way, why is the lake like a greenish kind of color and the lakes in the Canadian Rockies are like a bluish green color? Kind of weird, because who here's from like Ontario or Manitoba, Saskatchewan? Yeah, a lot of people. Out there, a lot of your lakes may be brownish kind of color, maybe kind of murky. So, in the Canadian Rockies, we have a mineral. This one right here. This is called calcite. Calcite. It's everywhere in the Canadian Rockies. So, as water is feeding into Lake Minnewanka, around here our water is mostly from underground natural springs. As that water is being pumped into the lake underground, it's very, very slowly grinding away at this rock flour here. Turns it into a fine powder. And that powder is then suspended in the water. When the sun's rays reflect off that powder in the water, it emits a greenish blue color. So at Lake Louise, the concentration of calcite much higher than anywhere else, because at Lake Louise, they have a glacier feeding their lake. As you guys know, glaciers are in constant motion. Although it's very slow motion, they're constantly moving, meaning they're grinding away at this rock flour fast. So more of this is at Lake Louise, and that gives it a brightish blue color. Here at Minnewanka, we definitely still have some, not as much as Lake Louise though. Also, some of you might know Emerald Lake, or Moraine Lake, or what's another one? Abraham Lake. All of those weird green-blue color, it's all because of this mineral, calcite. Very cool. That's a great question. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? I'll get it right on. Okay, well, we're going to let our engines cool down maybe just for 1 or 2 minutes more. Oh, yes, question.
Is this water drinkable?
Is this water drinkable? So, what I usually tell people when they ask this question, if you were in the desert for a week and you had no water, and then you came to Lake Minnewanka and this was the only water you could drink, you could probably do it, you'd be fine. However, if you are totally healthy, you have no problems, you have plenty of access to clean drinking water, I would say probably don't drink the water from Lake Minnewanka. Why? Well, though that this mineral makes the water very beautiful, it also makes it very murky. Though it looks very clear and clean and beautiful, the water itself, very murky. You can only see about 20 meters away from you. And that's because of this. Also, we have diesel emissions from these boats. And I don't think I need to say this one. There's fish that pee and poo in this lake. So, not the cleanest water of all time, but like I said, if you had no other choice and you were dying of thirst, you could probably drink Minnewanka water and be okay. That's a good question, really good question. Any others, guys?
How about the mountains?
What's that, sorry?
How about the mountains?
The names of the mountains?
Yeah, mountains.
Yeah, so, right behind you guys is Mount Gerard. You'll get a better look at it if you want to go outside or do anything like that. Mount Gerard. On the other side, across right over here, Spirit Ridge. So, this is Spirit Ridge, the only mountain in the Minnewanka Valley that was named by the First Nations people. So, we got Mount Gerard, Spirit Ridge, right here. This is Mount Aylmer. You guys see, actually, it might be kind of hard. People on this side will be able to see better. Hopefully you can on this side as well. You see in the back that peak with the small amount of snow on it? So that's Mount Aylmer. It's the highest peak we have in Minnewanka. Not in all of Canadian Rockies, just Minnewanka. It's approximately 3,160 meters above sea level. Here we're about 1,500 meters above sea level. Sorry, I don't need this microphone anymore. I can turn it off. So, Mount Gerard, Spirit Ridge, Mount Aylmer. Right here, Mount Astley, named after the Astley brothers. And then, just on the other side of Mount Gerard here, the one that you see from the docks, the big beautiful mountain, that is Mount Inglis Maldy, named after a castle in Scotland. Finally, got one more left. Way at the end, you can see that there's one mountain that it looks like the lake ends there. It doesn't. It actually takes another bend. But that mountain there, that is Saddles Peak. Some people say it looks like a horse's saddle, but that's actually not why it's called Saddles Peak. The first person, a bit wavy, isn't it? The first person to climb Saddles Peak, George Simpson. He thought he was the first ever person in history to climb it. And as you guys know, the first person to climb a mountain has the right to name it. So he was ready to name that mountain maybe Mount Simpson or Mount George, something like that. But when he reached the top, he found a horse's saddle. So clearly he was not the first person to be on the top of there. And out of respect, he named that mountain Saddles Peak. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great question. Any others, guys? All good?
What kinds of fish inside?
We got lots of good fish. So, whoops. Native species. We have bull trout, brown trout, Rocky Mountain whitefish, and Cisco. But there's one species that was introduced from Ontario that people come here to fish, and that is these guys. This is a lake trout,
Lake Trout.
introduced from Lake Superior. And since they are an introduced species, these are the only fish in all of Banff National Park that you guys can actually keep. So if you purchase a fishing license, you can keep up to 2 lake trout per day per fishing license. Taste very, very yummy, similar to salmon. All the other species though, like I said, bull trout, brown trout, Rocky Mountain whitefish, if you were to catch one of those, since they're native to this area, you would have to release it back in the water.
Oh.
But these guys, very tasty, very fun. This fish in this picture, 35 pounds, 16 kilograms. And the largest lake trout ever caught on the lake was 50 pounds. So maybe you guys could break the record, who knows? You guys want to know what my record catch is on this lake? 4 pounds. Yeah, definitely not the biggest fish ever. Awesome. Anyways, guys, I didn't mention it, but this is your free time. We're gonna float here just for a few minutes. Go on the back deck, open up your windows. Like I said, we're just gonna chill here. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Otherwise, enjoy this time in the Canadian backcountry.
Thank you.
No worries.
Okay. So guys, this is Lake Minnewanka. We're here just to strolling. Look at that. So there's a lot of history as you hear a while ago. This lake one of Minnewanka.
And if you don't get a turn on the back deck when we're stopped, remember you can always go out there when we're moving as well.
See? Look at that. Beautiful, eh? You saw a fish in there, Elijah? Enjoy, guys, for watching. Oh, a little bit windy, so we're shaking. The boat are shaking, guys. Look at that, guys. See, guys, lots of adventure, guys. Lots of history on this lake, guys. And it's me again. Yeah. Once again, guys, this day is a blogger. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys again on next episode. Bye.